Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. We made it to Friday. I at least know what today is. I've been a little confused, staying in the home under the stay at home guidelines by basically everyone is doing stay at home for the most part. And with that in mind, the Signature CEO Conference was supposed to be in March, but unfortunately, like everyone, we had to postpone. So in the interim, I am bringing to you our esteemed speakers to come and speak with you about how to get over this hurdle, how to pivot your business, how to stay focused, stay strong, and move forward with your businesses during this temporary disruptive period that we are experiencing at this time. And so with that being said, today we have with us one of our esteemed speakers, Miss Shaune Hayes of Red Carpet Ready Makeup. And she is going to be talking with us today as far as again, how to move forward and moving forward in ways to, identify the distractions that are out there. She's going to talk about how to plan, go on with a daily routine, turn off the notifications that are out there that are prohibiting us to move forward and having a positive mindset. She's going to talk about taking mental breaks and how to keep it clean. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Miss Shaune Hayes. And before we get into the talk, I want her to tell us about her fabulous self. So Shaune, tell us about you.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you for inviting me to speak to everyone today. You already mentioned some of that. I'm Shaune Hayes, owner of Red Carpet Ready Makeup with Shaune Hayes. And part of my, story is that I left my journalism career almost 8 years ago to run my makeup business full time. So it has been quite the journey being a full-time entrepreneur. I've learned a lot on this journey, and some of that I'm definitely going to be sharing today with you. And you're, just to kind of, just praise you for a minute, but you are one of the ones in the wedding and event industry that I just identified early on in my career and was like, I want to get to know her. I want to work with her. So thank you. I'm glad to see where our relationship kind of has grown over the years. But my business, again, we provide makeup on site and private lessons in studio for all types of events, of course, weddings and galas, but also media events, corporate events, conferences. Just when you think about needing to be red carpet ready, whatever that event is for you, it could be a family photo shoot, it could be a video. That's what me and my company and the artists that work with me, we help to make you look fabulous for the spotlight. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. And, this admiration goes both ways because, you wanted to get to know me. Now I look up to you so much now. You're such an inspiration to our industry. And so I just want to applaud you for all that you're doing because, people are watching and I watch you all the time. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, if I could just be like half the person that she is.
My gosh.
So you and everyone, I'll let you know, I have on colored lipstick because of Shaune.
Yes!
Because I'm a bland girl. And I said, let me go put on some lipstick for Miss Shaune because, every time I get in her chair, it's just like, no Tara, no Tara.
See, I went soft today. I probably should have did bold. But I'm so glad to see you just stepped outside of the box. Look, it took some work for us to get Tara to step outside.
Yeah, had to take baby steps.
But you look amazing in that color. See, I wouldn't steer you wrong.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into our conversation. And we're talking about how to move beyond the disruptions that are out there. Each and every day we're hearing about COVID-19. And if you penetrate on the information that's coming through the media, on the newsways, social media, and so forth, it will just bog you down and put you in a state of depression. So I asked Shaune on here, to talk about how can we move forward, how can we pivot to block out those distractions. Because again, like I said, I admired her so much and the things that she's doing to stay focused, stay healthy. And so we're going to get into it. So the first one that you talk about is to identify what those distractions are. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So, when we think about, those of us, a lot of us are on 100% telework, and it may be different for a lot of people to have to work from home, whereas me, I'm used to working from home, but not working from home this much because usually I am out servicing clients. But it has just really underscored for me the need to, be, I guess, 100% like extra focused and determined not to be distracted. So I think it's important in order to do that, you have to first figure out what is it that distracts you? What is it that sometimes, keeps your focus from on those tasks that you're trying to complete or get done? Because it's different for everyone. For me, which I'll go into in the next tip, but my main distractions really, well, the main distraction is my phone. It really is, because we're on them all day. We work from them, we communicate from them. It's like it's a mini computer. So we always have our phones, but that's where the distractions for me, identifying that distraction and the tips that I can do to, keep from being distracted from my phone is super important. And then now that I'm being forced to homeschool, it brings distractions and staying focused to a whole nother level, because now I have 3 kids at home that I still have to run my business, but I still have to now educate them, and the distractions are amplified. So, so I'll get into that with the next tip. But yeah, we have to first know what are the distractions, that tend to keep us from being focused and getting tasks done.
Okay, awesome. I'll say my biggest distraction is, like you said, the cell phone. Thankfully, but not thankfully, I live alone, so I don't have anyone knocking on the door and saying, I need your attention. So the biggest thing for me is the cell phone. The cell phone, one, by me going on the social media and all that kind of stuff, checking emails all the time. And then the other thing about the cell phone too, even though I don't have anyone here living with me, that my family in North Carolina now is amplified with them checking in with me every hour. And so it's like I have to calm them down, like, look, y'all don't have to call me every hour. But their thing is, well, you live alone. If something happens, we'll never know. So you have to figure out what your distractions are.
Definitely. And then even adding to that, yes, the phone, and more specifically for me, the notifications that will come through, whether it's, Facebook notifications or Instagram, text messages, because I'm on a lot of group text messages. I know that we all are. We have group threads, whether it be family or friends. Sometimes people get on a roll and those messages just keep coming through. And then even email, because if I'm trying to stay focused on a task, if I see emails popping in, I'm going to be inclined to go and let me just check this real quick. It just kind of takes me off of what I'm, supposed to be doing. So those particular things, whether it's coming through on the phone or the computer, tend to be my distractions again.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And then you say go over your daily routine the night before. Yes. How has that helped you?
Gosh, it helps me. It has helped me tremendously, because I guess it's better helped me to kind of start my day with intention. Once I put my kids to bed, I'm able to kind of sit down and think about what are the 2 or 3 major tasks that I want to accomplish tomorrow. And I find myself, trying to visualize what those tasks are, the steps I'm going to take to get them done, thinking about my day, like what time I'm going to get started, what's the first thing that I'm going to do on task number 1, how much time am I going to allot to that task so that I'm, staying on some sort of schedule. And so really just kind of going through my mind the night before, what is tomorrow going to look like? And for me, that just really helps to kind of set intention, and it helps me to start my day, with intention. So, I know some people like to plan like maybe a week out or even months out, which is fine. But in particular with that, with it being a particular day that we're focused on, I think, sitting down the night before and just thinking about, okay, what's the goal here for tomorrow? So that is huge for me. I have to just mentally see it and visualize it so that I can be more effective the next day and productive.
Awesome. And I think that helps too, because for me, I have a huge to-do list, and there's no way, if you look at your whole to-do list, you'll never get anything done, or you'll just be like, oh, I just can't do it,
Right. Yes.
So I like that idea as far as like picking 3 things that you necessarily need to accomplish. Absolutely. Do them and then move forward.
Yeah, yeah, because I used to have a huge list, and I'm like, I have to get all of these things done, and it just brought extra stress and overwhelm, to my day. And then I would never feel accomplished because, of course, I would never get everything done on the list. So just kind of attacking that in a different, way by having those top two or three things has made a huge difference.
Okay, awesome. And then turning off notifications. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but definitely go ahead and elaborate as far as like turning off notifications.
Yeah, so I noticed for me, again, when I'm sitting down and I'm trying to do focused work, I was constantly, if a notification came through, I was constantly looking at it. I was, clicking on it, taking a break. If an email was coming through, maybe it was a bride that had a quick question. I found myself, let me just get back to her really quickly. If my family group text, if they, sent a silly message or something through, I was finding myself always stopping to respond to those things. And what ends up happening is that it just completely caused me to lose focus. And I look up and then I'm an hour in, 2 hours in, and I haven't gotten anything done on what I said I was going to do. So I just had to make it a point. And even in the notifications, I've completely turned my ringer off so that I don't even have like phone calls coming through at all. And just really kind of shutting down. For me, I guess I work better with complete, quiet. I can't work with music. I just can't concentrate. I know some people can, and that might be a tip for, viewers to consider maybe having music playing while you're working. For me, it just has to be like complete silence. I don't know. But, again, turning off those notifications so I'm not seeing them pop up, completely shutting my phone down so I'm not being distracted by a, text, tone that comes through. It's just what I had to do for me.
I will tell you one of the things that, and people joke with me, they ask me, do you ever sleep? Because you're always working. I am always working, but I have noticed, and one of the things since we've been on this little self-isolation period, is that I have stopped. So I sleep with my cell phone by the bed, and that's because the first thing when I do when I wake up in the morning is I grab my cell phone. I'm like going through all my emails. I'm like checking my calendar, this, that, and other. What happens when I do that? One, like you said, after by doing that and picking it up, and when I finally put it down, it's like an hour or to 90 minutes have passed by.
Yes.
And secondly, I have no more motivation to go get on the treadmill because now it's just like, oh my God, I got to get to the computer now because I've been wasted all this time.
Yes.
So I have been doing literally as don't even touch it. And and the funny thing is, the first couple of days, I felt like I was on crack because I would like touch the phone and I'll be like, oh, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
That's so true.
But I have gotten the most rest by not touching that phone. And when I get up, I'm going straight to the treadmill.
Oh, that's good. That's a real good tip. I'm glad you mentioned that because I think it's a habit
Our
for all
phones
of
are
us.
cracked, people.
Yeah. As soon as we wake up,
the cell phone is cracked.
Yes, it is. It really is. We're addicted to it. And look, now that we're having a social distance, more of us are online, more of us are doing things online. And I felt like it's just like heightening that even more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, get those cell phones away. Mental breaks. What about mental breaks? You're telling us to take them after an hour or 90 minutes of working.
Yeah. So again, this is, things that I'm sharing that work for me and may be different for other people. They may be able to work in longer stints, but I just kind of feel like, when I would sit at the computer for like 2 or more hours at a time, I would feel exhausted by the time I do pull myself away from the computer. And I would feel very drained because think about it. Even people that go into the office, they typically have like breaks built in, like 15-minute break, 30-minute break, just to kind of stimulate their mind or whatever. So for me, if I can sit down and be really focused for like a straight hour or 90 minutes, and then after that, kind of get up, take a snack, it just helps to, I guess, get my energy back up to where it was when I initially sat down. Because I feel like for me, after 60 or 90 minutes, my energy starts to fade. You're looking at a computer screen for that long, or I might be working on something for that long. My energy just starts to fade. And so for me, getting up, it could be going outside on my deck just to get some fresh air, or even getting a snack. It just helps to kind of reboost for me to continue on my day. So taking mental breaks is again very very helpful, because I'll sit in front of the computer for 4 hours, just do 4 hour stretches, just constantly working on things, and it's just, I don't think that's great.
Yeah. And again, I've noticed that, well, what pushed me to get up every hour is getting on the scale. Because when I got on the scale, that it went the other direction. I was just like, oh Lord, I'm sitting too long. I need to get up and move. So I've been setting an alarm on my computer to every hour get up, do something. Or it's even to the point that I realized it's simple. Yes, he's a dog, he's an animal, but I've been neglecting my dog. So what I'll do, I get up, I run around, I play with him, or either take him back outside, throw the ball a couple of times, and then come back in the house.
Yeah. And some other things that I do, speaking, just to kind of add to that, I'm a big fan of like deep breathing, and I do breath work exercises, but sometimes just taking a break and just doing deep breathing or even stretching, just to kind of get the juices flowing again, are also, things that I do when I'm taking a mental break.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone that's joining. Everyone is saying hello. Hi, Christina. Hi, Natasha, Vernita, Michelle. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions for Shaune, please make sure that you type your comments in the comments field, and we will make sure that we get them answered for you. Okay, so moving on to tip number 5, keeping it clean. What does that mean? Are you talking about food-wise, organization?
I guess it could be food-wise too, since I'm on a road to fitness journey.
Yes, but, and you didn't include any of those tips in there, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
Yeah, we can talk about that. We can add that in. So for me, keep it clean definitely has to do with my work area, my workspace, just wherever I'm working that day. It has to be organized. Cluttered makes me feel crazy when things are just, out of order. I do a lot of work like in my dining room. So if it's just kind of in disarray, I just cannot work effectively. And even if I'm downstairs in my makeup studio, the makeup table has to be neat. I mean, just things have to be in place for me to just feel like, okay, now I'm ready. It just energizes me more so than working in a space that's cluttery or dirty or, not well lit. I love working where there's lots of natural light. So for me, keeping it clean was in reference to whatever your space is where you're working, just making sure that it is a clean space, yeah.
And keeping it clean also, with that being organized, like you're saying, it increases your productivity too. Yeah. So I can't stress enough about organization. I'm a very organized person. I can't, like you said, I can't stand clutter and stuff. So the more organized you are in your space, even how you organize your paperwork and stuff for your clients, the more productive you're going to be. And then also too, you're able to handle things like this major disruption that's come into our lives. You're able to handle it a lot better. You're not running around with your head cut off.
Right. Like, what am I going to do? Yeah, absolutely. So keep it clean, definitely. Works better for me.
So I love the 5 tips that you provided to us. So I want to highlight a little bit about your fitness journey. So earlier this week, we had Benny Black. He is a fitness instructor and stuff. And yes, we love our fitness instructors. We love hearing what they have to say. But then we're like looking at them, but like, okay, well, you look like that. How am I going to get there? But you have gotten there. Kind of share your motivation, because I think the message relays a lot better when it's someone like us that has gone through the journey, and kind of tell people, what made you start the journey and what is keeping you motivated to stay on this direction that you're going.
Yeah. So what got me started on this journey, I say this time because I'm one of those ones who has definitely yo-yo dieted for years. I've just struggled with my weight for years. But 3 years ago, I was going through a business burnout. I was working all the time, just trying to, just be there for my clients at all hours of the day. I just, didn't have set schedule. It was just crazy all over the place. Because again, I had left my full-time job to do my business full-time. And so I was just in this mindset of survival of the fittest. I got to just do what I can to make my business be successful. And so that meant by any means necessary. And of course that came through neglect of myself, and poor diet, poor nutrition, just poor habits, that I started to, I guess, pick up as a business owner, trying to have this business survive. I was, really running the business out of a scarcity mindset, thinking it's not going to be enough work, not going to be enough jobs. And so I just got to this point where I was working all the time and went through this very bad business burnout. And it was kind of like a wake-up call for me, because I saw just how poor my health was, how much weight I had picked up, just going from job to job, not really thinking about what I was eating, but just, going through fast food restaurant, fast food drive-throughs, and just doing whatever I could to get to the next gig. And so it was a couple of days before a celebrity booking, and I woke up with a pain in my arm, and I couldn't move my right arm, and ended up going to the emergency room because I had no mobility in it. So there was no way that I could even do makeup. And, that health scare was just like, okay, Shaune, you have got to do something, or you're not going to even be able to be here for the business. You won't be able to thrive, as the owner of the business, and your business won't, survive. And so that health scare is what kind of started the whole road, what I call my road to fitness journey. I just, started to kind of pull myself back from the business. It's interesting because things also started to slow up this particular year. So I just had more time on my hands, and I just started walking and just really working on myself from the inside out. And I say that because all of the past times that I had tried to get healthy and well, my focus was always on the scale, what the number said, and just trying to lose this certain amount of weight. But this particular time, it was really thinking about my emotional health, my mental health, my spiritual health, all of that. And so that kind of started the whole, journey or whatever that I was on. And then the physical part came after that. And so for me, just also finally learning how to eat. I can honestly say this time that I did not go on a diet, because I've tried everyone. I've tried everything, but this time I just started thinking about, how am I feeding myself? What am I doing to make sure that I can function, when I have those long days? What food is going to give me the energy and sustenance that I need, to kind of get through. And so I just started changing what my plate looked like. I started, vegetables became the thing that would mostly be on my plate, and then some of the other things, as far as the protein or grain. But I just started eating cleaner, eating better, eating more whole foods, less processed foods. And then the weight started to gradually come off. This has been a 3-year journey. I've lost about 25 pounds each year. So I'm at a total about 80 pounds, 85 pounds that I've lost naturally. No surgery or anything like that, but just really taking the process slow. And I think that has also made it sustainable, because it was a very gradual process. I didn't drop weight that quickly. It's just been over, like I said, almost 3 years now.
And with this journey, someone has a question. I'll get to your question real soon. With this, have you ever had a lull, or saying that you don't want to do it anymore? And if so, what made you kind of, like, as they say, snap out of it and,
Right.
like, no, I need to refocus and regroup?
Yeah. I can honestly say I have not. It's so interesting because I have not had any lulls, because I'm to the point now where I love it. It really just gives me life to be able to wake up, to work out, to move my body. I love cooking now. I mean, I could not stand cooking before. It was just like a drag. I just like, I hate to cook. But now I've just become just more awakened with food and just color. If you've seen my pictures I post, I love eating in color is what I say. So bright, colorful foods. But I can honestly say I have not had a lull, because it really does give me life. It's like I need it now. And it's not a drag for me, like, to work out. And so I may not go hardcore every day. Sometimes I may just do a walk,
Mm-hmm.
But for those who may find themselves having a lull, I would say it's okay. I feel like sometimes you just have to kind of own that space that you're in and not beat yourself up about it. But then try to move out of that space quickly. So, for me, that might be, let me change things up. Maybe I was getting bored with this type of work that I was doing. Okay, let me change it up and try something different. So, if you're in a lull, own it. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't be guilty. And then think, okay, what can I do to come out of that? So maybe it's having somebody, accountability partner, like, what's up? What's going on?
Right. And I even like the fact that now you got your family in on it. They're walking. I saw that you had your kids doing push-ups. So that I was like, look at there.
And that's kind of made it fun.
Boot camp.
Yes. That's made it really fun, because they've seen mommy go from this very just tired, out of shape, just not very well and healthy person to I just now have a lot more energy, and I'm always talking to them about how they're feeding their bodies and taking care of themselves even now, because I want them to get what I didn't have as a kid. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So the question is from Christina. She says, have you been meal prepping during this pandemic? Does that help stay on track?
Gotcha. So I will say that I don't like consistently meal prep, but I do meal prep. So before the pandemic, gosh, it's just so natural for me now. But before the pandemic, usually like on Sundays, I would sit down and think, okay, what do I want to have the week, the upcoming week in terms of meals? What are we going to make? What are we going to eat? And I'll just kind of think about that mentally, and then also come up with just kind of looking through my cabinets and thinking, okay, what do I have, that I'm going to need to make these meals, or what do I need to go to the grocery store and get? So because I'm so used to now eating the way I eat, I don't feel like I've had to just make this extra effort to meal prep during the pandemic, because it's just kind of a part of what I naturally do. But what I am doing during this pandemic, and I want to encourage other people to do, is just don't snack and eat stuff that we know that we don't need, because those pounds are going to show up. Like, still try to keep healthy options around you, even though we're shut in. Keep the healthy options around you, because it is so easy to just just snacking all day long.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, most definitely. I brought up all this fruit this earlier this week, and I was so excited. I bought a watermelon. Oh my goodness, the watermelon is horrible. It is sitting on my counter. I have to throw the whole thing in the trash.
Oh my gosh, it wasn't a good watermelon.
It was not. It tastes like literally like rubber.
Oh my gosh, you know what? That's interesting, because yeah, I feel that way about the basil that I bought from the grocery store. It has been terrible. So last week the kids helped me plant my herbs so I can have my own herbs.
Oh my gosh. But yes, let's work on the snacking, people.
Yes,
I found that out too.
Yes.
And the wine, as Coach Benny Black said on Monday, he said the wine is not good for us, but I have to veto that. I have to have my wine at the end of every day.
Really?
It just helps me to go to sleep.
You're like my husband. See, I've never been a big wine drinker, so yeah, but my husband is.
And also too, I like the reason why we're talking about this, because okay, again, we had Coach Benny, I keep saying coach, fitness instructor Benny Black on Monday, who is a male. Now we're talking to you from the standpoint of you're somebody like us. And two, for the ladies, we have the hardest time of staying healthy and losing weight. Whereas when a man says, oh, I'm not going to drink any sodas no more, he loses 50 pounds and he's done.
Yes.
Where with us, we can say we can stop drinking sodas, but guess what?
Right.
We're going to still look the same. That needle is not going to move.
Right. Yes, it's true. We got our hormones are different. If we're getting older, there's, I have a friend going through menopause, and it's causing her to, gain weight. It's just a whole bunch of other issues, that we have to deal with that men don't. And it does make it harder. At least in my experience, it has made it much harder to lose the weight. And to even the way that I'm built naturally makes it harder, because most of my weight goes into the center area as opposed to the hips and the behind. So it's been much harder for me to lose, just because of how the composition of my body and all of that. So yeah, as a mom and a wife, having had 3 kids, and I feel like the twins really messed me up. It has taken such a long time to get to this place. But one thing I do want to let people know is to love yourself where you are. And this is something that I had to really, teach myself in terms of the whole self-love piece. Even while trying to go through and lose this weight, I had to just really accept myself where I was, to love myself where I was, but then also to know that I do have the power to change, those things in those areas. So self-love would be my answer to that, because I feel like we tend to be hard on ourselves as women anyway. But just build yourself up. I'm a big believer in affirmations. Look at yourself in the mirror, tell yourself how good you look, how good you feel, keep it positive. And that has made all the difference for me too.
Awesome, awesome. And before we let you go, another thing that you kind of highlighted is, and so that we can address for those people, you have a family,
Yeah.
and now you're at home. Well, you work from home anyway, but now your husband is at home.
Right.
Now your kids are at home.
Yes.
So, how are you balancing that whole environment where everybody's at home, where you're usually at home by yourself, working freely?
Right. So I can honestly say this is still a work in progress because today was the first week where we're all home working. So like previously before this week, we were on spring break. My kids were on spring break, and then we found out that they wouldn't be going back to school. And so this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday has been the first 3 days where we're all at home. So right now the focus has really been on them and just kind of getting them set in terms of their school schedule and what that is going to look like. So I haven't had as much time, honestly, to work on my business, to focus on that because I need to just kind of get things set for them. Me and my husband were co-teachers. This is something that we now have to do. And so what we're probably going to do, one of the things we're looking at in terms of schedule is being able to say, okay, you teach and be with the kids this day so that I can maybe have that day to work on my business. And then you teach and do the kids this day. So kind of coming up with a schedule where we're alternating so that each of us can still work on our businesses is what we're leaning toward because this is brand new for us. We're still, I think alternating schedules is what's going to work best for us.
Okay, all right. And just as you said earlier, establishing that routine,
Yeah.
making sure that the kids have a routine,
Right.
you and your husband have a routine so that they can feel some type of normalcy while being at home.
Yeah. And then with the kids, it's just like talking to them and letting them know, like, look, this is new for all of us. We need you all on board to help us because, again, this is uncharted territory for all of us. And so just being honest with them about what's going on and getting their input has made a difference too. Like, how do you think it went this week with homeschool? What would you want to change or do differently? So we're making them a part of the process too. I think that's really important because then they feel, like a part of the team and they cooperate better.
So you will have to put them in timeout.
Right. My daughter's in 7th grade, so she's kind of like, she's good. She's pretty independent. So I don't really, but it's these two twin boys, 8 years old, boys. Woo!
Look, they're pushing the buttons, aren't they?
Oh my gosh, energy for days, and then they get silly and acting and smiling and laughing with each other. So,
oh my goodness. All right. So, does anyone have any other questions for Miss Shaune here? Let me scroll through Facebook here and see.
I have a question for you if we don't have any other ones from the group.
Okay. Yes. What question you have?
Question for you, being someone who works at home and you don't, I have, family and all of that I have to balance as well. A lot of people think, oh, when you're home by yourself, it's a lot easier. But can you just kind of share about that? Because I have some other friends who, work from home by themselves and they're just like, no, it's not easier. So just curious on your thoughts as far as that goes.
So for me, I don't have distractions, and I don't mean as far as like people. I mean as far as like the television, setting boundaries with my family. Before the whole COVID-19, my family knows not to call me during the day. I really had to set that hard line with them because my mom was like, well, you're working at home. Why can't you answer the phone? I'm like, no, I am working. I will call you after 6 p.m. If it's an emergency, please call me. So for me, I don't watch television. And as much as I love watching Young and the Restless during the day, my Young and the Restless is DVRing. And so at the end of the day, I will go and watch it. I'm watching it either when I'm eating or whenever I get in bed at night. And then too, just having a set schedule as far as like what it is that I need to do, what it is that I need to accomplish, and just, creating it as if this, I am working, but creating my own work environment, like I am stepping into an office. Now, I will tell you, some people say dress like you're going to work. Believe me, if we wouldn't have had this video, there would have been no makeup on. I do have on pajamas right now. I just have on a somewhat nice sweatshirt for you. But after this is over, I'm pulling this sweatshirt off and I will be in my pajamas. I sit in pajamas all the time. Pajamas are like my favorite thing. And so
and you're able to be productive in pajamas, because I sometimes feel like if I'm not dressed it makes me feel like too relaxed. You know what I mean?
I don't want anything tugging on me,
Wow.
pulling on me. I have to be in pajamas.
Gotcha. Okay.
And even with my dog, he's on a set schedule. Even if he likes to play, he wants to go outside. No, he has his schedule too. You're not going to bug me. You
Okay.
know, there are certain times that you can go outside.
Right.
And for the most part, that's how I'm able to stay sane. I will say the biggest thing for me that I have a hard time doing is cutting myself off. So before, I used to work till 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. But now, for me, if I don't have it done by 8 p.m., then I'm not doing it. I mean, there's nothing I can do else, because after 8 p.m., because I do wake up early in the morning, I'm up at like 5:30 in the morning.
Yes.
So from going to 5:30 to 8 o'clock, after 8 o'clock, my body is like shutting down on its own.
Right.
And I found myself making mistakes. So
Okay.
it's just that I cut it off,
Right.
regroup, refresh, and start over the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you in terms of your body kind of letting you know, that it's time to, cut it off, because I get in that place too, especially if I've gotten up early like you at a 5 a.m., 5:30 in the morning. So yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking.
Absolutely. I think it's good for them to hear both sides, those
Yeah, so
family and all of that, and those that maybe don't have that. But yeah.
you got to stay focused. And one of the things that I've been doing lately is try not to stay on social media as much. I do have 5 social media channels, so I do have to get those things posted.
Right.
But I have limited. I try, when I get it posted, I make sure it's posted. Everything looks great. And then after that, I put the phone down, because I don't want to be stuck on social media, just getting distracted.
Absolutely.
And looking at things. So yeah.
That is.
And I will say that if I do go on social media and if I want to stay and hang out, I go to my personal social media page.
Okay.
And the reason being is my my personal social media page is because I do not follow people in the industry.
Gotcha.
Everything that's on there is things that I like to do. So I follow my stars. I follow my Young and the Restless people.
Gotcha.
All those people that I look up to. And so it's fun. And I can tell you, there is a total difference. Whenever I'm looking at my personal social media page, it doesn't distress me. I'm not, feeling like this heavy weight is on me. The moment I go to my business pages, it's just like, oh.
Yes, that is so true.
So if anything, if I want to be on social media, I will go to my personal social media page and hang out, have fun, laugh at stuff. I post my crazy stuff. And there are people that want to be friends with me, or businesses in our industry that wants to be friends with me on my personal page. And unfortunately, I will hit delete. No.
Gotcha. Right. You want to keep it, personal and fun and light,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so that helps me. So if anybody wants to be on social media, I would say clean up your personal page and don't be associated with people in our industry. And when I say don't be associated, I pick and choose like people that I am associated with, but I'm associated with them on their personal page, not on their business page.
Okay, gotcha. That's a really good tip. Because I did start like a health and fitness page, since I've been on this journey, and I just love being able to post the foods that I cook, and it's just a different feel. It's not the stress of when I'm on my business accounts, but yeah, so I can relate to that. Yeah. I follow all of these meal, companies and people that cook great things and get ideas. So it's fun. That's my release.
Yeah. And speaking of that, tell people how they can follow you.
Yes. So on Instagram, it is at Red Carpet Ready Makeup, all one word all together, Red Carpet Ready Makeup. For my health and fitness, it's at Lotus Flower Journey. If you just want to come on there, be inspired, see some of my workouts and some of the things that I cook. And and then my website is redcarpetreadymakeup.com. So that's how you can find me.
Awesome. Any other questions? Oh, we have some Young and the Restless fans on here.
I used to be a fan, and I gave it up years ago. But
you gave it up?
Fans, yeah.
Okay, I don't think we have any questions. Okay, so let me just go back and highlight the points that we covered today. So identify what your distractions are, kind of pinpoint what those are, and kind of eliminate them, address them, kind of move them out of the way. It's very important to have a routine. So plan, identify the night before, which are 2 to 3 tasks that you're going to be doing so that you won't feel overwhelmed the next day when you're trying to accomplish things. And I will say with that, once you've accomplished those 3 things, then maybe add another one and then another one, but definitely don't bombard yourself with, a bunch of stuff that needs to be done, because you know what, eventually you will get to it. Turn off your notifications, limit your texting and emailing, take your mental breaks. Shaune suggests either an hour or 90 minutes, just take a break, walk around the room, go check the mailbox, do whatever you need to do to take that break. And then also keep it clean. Have an organized workspace because this will increase your energy and your productivity. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. For you that are joining us, please tell all of your friends to come back to this page and review this video. The video will maintain live on our page. And then I am also, hopefully I'll have them all up next week. These will be converted into blogs on the Signature CEO Conference website page. So please go there, and do know that the Signature CEO Conference is coming back.
Yes.
We do have that tentative date. We will let you guys know as soon as we're get in the clear a little bit here, and hopefully, the powers that be will allow us to come back to socializing in person. But most importantly, we care about the health and safety of each and every one of you. So that's what's most important, and we will go by that first. But the Signature CEO Conference is coming back. It will be the last of the Signature CEO Conference as you know it. We will be releasing the new format at the conference. So again, continue to follow us. We're going to continue to enlighten you, provide you with information to make you a better business owner, a better leader. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. And Ms. Shaune, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.